What's up, guys? We are here with Matt Lyons, and he just came in 3rd place at the Dayton Regional playing Hoenna Sola. Take a look at that bronze Sola right there. And let's get right into the deck profile. Let's take a look at that main deck.
All right. Well, first, I've got my 1-drops. I have 3 Failed Golem #1, and I have 3 Raging Shard Beasts. My deck, I've got a little bit more of an aggro bent to it than I think some of the other ones do. I built it when Liam was a little bit more big in the format. The deck has a great performance against Liam, and this just really helps you go a little bit more faster against some of the more controlling shells. You want to have 1-drops that can destroy towers. That's why I don't have Failed Golem #2. I don't particularly like Failed Golem #2 since he cannot destroy a tower without some sort of buff, and I'm not playing anything that's going to buff him.
Shard Beast turn 1 is just a disgusting play right now.
Yeah, it's real good. And it doesn't bite you too much. We do have some 4-drops, so sometimes you do get a little scared with that. But a lot of times, if they don't destroy your Shard Beast, you're winning anyway.
You're doing good,
yeah. So, some more 1-drops. We've got the Delayed Poisons. They're very strong.
Yeah.
Yep, going to destroy your opponent's turn 1 Shard Beast. Liam, sometimes you just want to get their creatures off the battlefield to run them out of creatures. Even like some Guardian decks, some of the blue decks, getting rid of that 2,000 Guardian for 2, that thing's a nightmare. Sometimes you just want to get this on there to get rid of it. We've got 2 Holy Slashes. I have to play 8 white cards because of Solo. We'll see the other 6 soon. This is the biggest question mark of whether I want 2 or 3 of these. I've got the 3rd in the sideboard, but we've just got 2 in the main. It's kind of a removal spell that a lot of people have forgotten about, so sometimes they'll think they're attacking for the win, and you've got this if they haven't seen your hand, or just hitting some of their quickness things, Watch Woman, or even a Juvenile Dragon when they just think they're getting a free hit in. It's great surprising them with one that just straight up destroys an attacking creature. Doesn't care about damage, doesn't care about giving it minus, just hits everything unless they give it hexproof of some sort. Next, we've got Golem of Devourment. He's pretty self-explanatory. He should probably be in any black-based deck. He's great all around. Like, there's just not enough good things to say about that guy. Next, I've got 1 Golem of Jealousy. I don't particularly love this card. Once that 1-drop comes out, that is 1,000 for 1, and you mill the top 3, that's in the October kits for local game stores. Like, this guy will probably turn into one of those.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like being aggressive. I like really trying to get in there early and get the games.
Is that to try to get, like, Yami's live, or what's your reasoning for maybe switching that?
Since he's only 1, there is a Rudy in this deck, so sometimes that triggers. You know, sometimes you've got other golems in play this guy, but since I'm not playing a lot of I don't have the 3 Failed Golem #2s.
Yeah.
A lot of times on turn 1, I've got Shard Beast, so I don't really want to play this on turn 2.
Yeah.
If I play this on turn 2, it's just a 1,000 for 2, and that's no good. But you really want to make sure you have creatures and you have pressure, so that's kind of where it's in, but this is kind of a flex spot.
Okay.
Next, I've got 3 Dust Strike.
I love triple Dust Strike.
Yeah, Dust Strike, very aggressive removal spell. I've got a lot of black creatures, so it's almost always turned on. Of course, I'm playing Hoenna, so you can almost always make a golem to spit out to use for Dust Strike. It's not usually a problem to not have a black unit. I like Dust Strike a lot. Takes care of Sylphia, doesn't hit Garga, can shrink it if you've got something to Guardian it, but takes care of most threats in the format.
Okay.
Next, I've got the playset of Omega Magic Hikari.
Great card.
This is kind of a question mark that I've had people do, and I've switched back and forth of 2 of this and 3 of the Holy Slash, 3 of this right now. I like having 3 of this because it's just, if you get into an aggressive matchup with another player where they see that you're destroying towers and they're trying to keep up with you, this is just so backbreaking to be at the end of your turn, 2 mana, make 2 1,000s.
Offensive, defensive, all around a great Omega Magic card.
Yep, I think this card's just absolutely absurd. So I'm happy to play 3 of it. Even if it's just a 1,000 Guardian for 1 with Flash, that's still pretty good. So I like that guy a lot. Next, we got a playset of another Omega Magic. Yes. Omega Magic Yami. Everyone's probably very familiar with this.
Yes.
Yeah, we've already seen several 1-drops. I mean, you don't necessarily want to be bringing back Shard Beast and Ruin Beast, but just the versatility of this card is just so great. And when it gets turned on, just being able to minus 1,000 one of their units that they think's getting through, and reanimating a Golem of Allurement or a Golem of Avarice if they've only got 1 card in hand. Just the toolbox nature of this card is just so crazy and good. Next, got the playset of Hidden Lab.
Gross.
Yeah,
gross.
It is. This card is gross. If you are playing a mirror match and you don't have Hidden Lab in your opening hand, you might just want to throw the 5.
That's why people are switching to Kite specifically for that. Did you have trouble playing against Hoenna Kite at all today?
I did. I have 2 losses on my record today, and it was to the 2 players that are playing for first and second, and they are both on Hoenna Kite.
Yes.
Hoenna Kite matched up very well, I felt, against my deck.
Yes.
They have, hopefully you'll get a deck with them because they've got some cool stuff going on. But yep, Hidden Lab is definitely what you want, just that card advantage. If you're playing against another Hoenna deck, the game's going to go long. It is not going to be a fast game, and getting that card advantage is fantastic. Being able to sack your golems when they're trying to attack into them to get counters on their Hoenna is amazing. Getting the card draw, just being able to sack your golems when they're trying to take them with Golem of Allurement, it's just very powerful. Next, I run the playset of Golem of Allurement.
How'd you like that?
I like it. It was still pretty strong today. It's proved me well.
It's very, very good against any sort of small aggro deck.
Yeah, like I said, I was really, when I kind of built this to my liking, like from everybody else's builds, just tweaked it a little bit, I found that I really liked having Golem of Allurement on 3, particularly against Liam. I have a lot of buddies that played Liam when we were play testing, and it's just so great when they play a creature, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to take the creature.
I'm going to take that. Yeah. You're good.
Yep, when they're not playing Hidden Lab, stealing their 1-drops with Golem of Allurement is amazing, and just sometimes it's just really great towards the end of the game. If the last tower up is their light tower, yep, if you destroy their light tower, you've got a Yami in hand, I'm going to reanimate Allurement, take the Guardian that you just made. It can just be backbreaking. It can win games just out of nowhere. Next, got the playset of Yuki.
Yes.
Yuki, very proven, very powerful card. If people aren't thinking about it or aren't aware of it, it just can come in and it just takes over the game. Just so much tempo swing when you play Yuki. Best way to play around it is if you think your opponent has some Yukis in hand, or if you've seen their hand and know they have some Yukis in hand, maybe not attack until you think you can get the win, or force them to play their Yukis hard cast. The Kite Hoenna players today did a very good job of suspecting I had Yukis and not attacking into my towers, and I had to hard cast some Yukis, and this is not as great. Yeah, not as good a card when you're hard casting.
That's when you know you're on the struggle bus.
Yep.
And you're hard.
Yep, really trying to get that last hit in. But yep, very strong card. Next, I've got one of Golem of Avarice. It's a good target sometimes for failed Golem against more control-y decks. Getting that random discard, get rid of hopefully some Ancient Serpent's Breaths, or against like green decks that are bouncing a lot, try to make them discard that Sylphia. You can also Yami it back, so even though I only have one, there is a chance that you cast it 2 or 3 times a game. We've got Rudy.
Yes,
Rudy is a very strong card. I would love to say that he like synergizes and does like super well things. Unfortunately, he's basically a lightning rod. He dies a lot. But every once in a while, you will get the dream of having another Golem on the battlefield and having Golem of Jealousy, or another Golem on the battlefield and having Golem of Avarice. Getting those double arrive triggers off of Rudy. Even Hidden Lab. Hidden Lab getting 6 counters instead of 3 is fantastic.
Yeah, it's very good.
So Rudy can be very strong. Next, I've got a one of Nobe the Shadow Guardian.
How'd you like that today?
I like Nobe a lot. I'm trying to remember what was in his place before I switched him in. He's just a good drop.
Rudy's good. Him with Rudy, so.
Yep, him with Rudy, another one that can kill 2 when it enters. You know, obviously with all these cards that have the if a Dark Tower destroyed or if a Fire Tower destroyed, can bite you if those aren't destroyed. But a lot of times I'm being pretty aggressive, so hopefully I've got that tower destroyed. And just a 2-for-1, destroy one of their creatures. You've still got a creature on the battlefield with Guardian. 2500 Guardian does a really good job against a lot of things that are currently running around in the format. Next, I've got a one of Debilitating Miasma. Honestly, this might turn into a 2-of in the main.
That card's great.
This card is very, very good in the mirror match. Hits Hoenna tokens. Basically hits every Golem in the deck. I believe the only card on this mat that it doesn't hit is Noob. Yeah. So that's very, very strong. Can also shrink a Sylvia or shrink a Garga if you're trying to attack into it to kill it. With Hoenna decks, you're generally trying to attack their creatures and keep the board clear. So even if you don't kill something, this shrinking their unit to be smaller so that you can kill it with, say, one of your 1500 Golems without your 1500 Golem dying, very strong card.
Yes.
Next, I've got the playset of Silver Watchwoman.
Damn.
It's a bit aggressive.
Well, just a bit.
I like the playset of Silver Watchwoman because she just seems to be unexpected. People, when you cast one, opponents kind of go like, yeah, that's a good card. When you cast the second one, people are kind of like, how many of those are you playing? So if you ever do cast a third, it's like, holy cow, that is aggressive. But again, a great card for our game plan of attacking their creatures.
Yeah.
I tested the 4-drop Golem. That also, like, it comes into play. You can discard a card to give it haste. Yeah, and I found that I just liked Watchwoman better. Every time I had that card in hand, I wished it was Watchwoman.
Do you have any issues with Juggernaut? Juggernaut's the reason why most people play Indolence. Did you run into it today at least?
I have not run into Juggernaut today. I've got a buddy that plays Jamal Kite a lot, so I know he's got some Juggernauts, but I have not had too much of a problem with Juggernaut.
Okay, you want to show us your side deck real quick?
Absolutely. Can we go to pick these guys up, make room? Yeah. Here. So on the sideboard side of things, as I mentioned earlier, I've got the one Holy Slash.
Yes.
Holy Slash, the biggest problem with it is what do you take out to put this in? Because you have to keep having 8 white cards. Earlier, against the, if a player's being savvy against you and your Yukis aren't doing well, I take out a Yuki and put this in. That's what I did both times against Hoenna Kite earlier. Just getting another removal spell to try to prevent them from winning the game, a big game. Next, I've got the playset of Golem of Vengeance.
3 of them?
I got the playset.
Wow,
He's a big boy.
explain that one.
This guy is more for particularly like Jamal Kite control. Jamal Kite control, like, just keeps filling his hand up. It always is going to have bounce spells or Mega Magic Zeus or the green Omega Magic Kazi. This card, a lot of times, even if it doesn't get 2 cards out of their hand, it guarantees 1. It doesn't have to have another golem in play to hit 1. So that's very nice. It's a bummer if they bounce it because it costs so much to cast, but generally games against that deck are going to go long. So if I'm up to 10 shards and I'm just casting this boy once per turn, that's okay. Like, eventually they're going to run out of gas. This is also really good in the mirror match. The mirror match can come down to, against Hoenna decks, a lot of people are going to be holding up Dust Strikes and Debilitating Miasmas, just those removal spells. It's really, really nice to get a look at their hand and to get rid of whatever card is currently going to prevent you from winning the game. This guy sometimes on turn 6, if you had an aggressive start, can be look at their hand, take the card that's going to lose you the game, and then just go for the win. Next, we've got 3 Acid Mongers.
Yes, MVP.
Yep, very good sideboard card.
I decided to not play green, so I'm forced to play this card.
Very true, very true. Destroys your opponent's Hidden Labs. I tend to bring 2 or 3 of them in the mirror match. Getting rid of Hidden Labs is good. Against Liam decks, you got to get rid of their War Rooms. Not too worried about Calibers and Longius. Probably hold this in your hand until they play a War Room, but gotta get rid of War Room. That card can take over the game with how much free mana they get, particularly now that a lot of those decks are playing Fizzy. So once they get to 2 or 3 shards, they just keep shard draining to fill up their hand. You really want to make sure they do not get War Room. Next, I've got 2 more Debilitating Miasmas. And like I said, one of these might come into the main. Probably one will stay in the side, but this card's very strong against any other mid-range creature deck. Hits so many creatures in the game. Instant speed, like it a lot. Next, I've got the other 2 Golem of Avarice. Another discard spell. So if you're playing against the more control-y decks that have just a lot of cards in their hand and don't really have many 1-drops, potentially side out the Allurements, bring these guys in. Or if they just don't have that many creatures in general, you might want to side out, like, if they don't have small creatures, sometimes I'll side out a Delayed Poison, or even like one of Dust Strike to bring in 2 more creatures. Just get that tempo swing on. I have a 1-of Catastrophe Demon. I haven't exactly found his home yet. I play against a lot of other players in my group, also really like Quicksilver Watchwoman. So Quicksilver Watchwoman coming into play tapped is just gravy. So I like this a lot. Also, gets their shards to come in exhausted. Destroyer. So, yep. Does a lot of things. Take that one away. And we've got a 1-of Philosopher's Stone. This also comes in often against the mirror match. Games that you know are going to go long and you're going to get a lot of golems into your graveyard. This is a great thing to cast. Also, if you bring in something like Catastrophe Demon or the 6-drops, this can find any dark unit, not just golems. So you're able to find the demon. That's a really cool thing to be able to do. Next, I've got 1 more Nobe, the Shadow Guardian. He comes in a lot of times in the mirror match as well, just when games are going to go longer and I know I'm not going to be able to win quick. He's a good thing, and I know they're going to have a lot of creatures. Then I'll bring him in to destroy and get more 2-for-1s. And finally, I've got a Twilight Knight. Twilight Knight doesn't come in too often. Again, sometimes I bring him in the mirror, sometimes I don't. It's kind of how I'm feeling that day. If I've seen a lot of Guardians in the matchup, I'll bring in Twilight Knight. If I haven't seen a lot of Guardians, he probably stays in the sideboard. But that is the sideboard.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for the deck profile. Appreciate it very much. And congratulations on your 3rd place.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Take a look at that bad boy. Okay. Peace out.